It's hard to put into words. Pingry soccer is it's my identity. It's my family, and it's my identity.
It's a program that I think the players and I myself take great pride in.
Because of this program's history, everybody has played us tough. And on top of this, we face a global pandemic.
And we had another blow with Aiden tearing his ACL, and I mean things like really looked down.
At this time last year, I thought there was no chance we would have a season at all. Because my first job always has to be the safety piece, but sometimes the safety piece was a little bit overbearing because it had to be for the larger institution and the larger school, but I couldn't really prioritize soccer over safety ever, even though some of the safety stuff really hurt kind of the ability to do what I would aspire to do on a soccer page. But it was a strange time to be enforcing masking and social distancing while trying to build a team that could hopefully win a championship.
Obviously, the beginning of this season was like no other. COVID-19, we were in the middle of COVID-19, and there were a lot of unknowns. Looking back, we actually got to train for the month of July as a team. Although it was different, I think that really helped us down the road as we were able to do a lot of technical work.
Scotty and I realized that all of the work that we did in the summertime, it couldn't have been more custom fit in terms of preparing the team that we had.
And it gave us plenty of time to do technical work. Kids always want to scrimmage, but the more technical work you do, the touch gets better. Preseason trip was the big thing, and not having scrimmages. But the preseason trip has really, for the last 30 years, been wonderful. Great bonding opportunity, great chance for the kids to see other parts of the country and the world. So that was the biggest disappointment.
But losing 8 seniors from last year was pretty rough for the program because we had to get in a lot of new young people in a completely new starting back line and a lot of different new pieces. A lot of the expectations around Pingry were that we weren't going to be the best and that we're just a young team and maybe in a couple of years we'll be good, but we really wanted to prove them wrong and work our hardest and try to get a trophy home.
Last season we had a big senior leave, and I came in as a sophomore and I had some big shoes to fill. I came in at center back and put in all the work. I worked with Dev a lot, and we got a lot done.
Over the past 3 years I've been pretty much injured, and this was my first year back, and it was just fun to get out there, contribute what I could, and play with the team.
So yeah, I think getting the injury, it was definitely hard, like when I was at home or like sitting in school, like just knowing that I couldn't play and go out there with the boys. But I think, what was really important was that as soon as I would step on the field or sit down on the bench before a game, we had a team that was, such a strong family, and everybody was so connected that when these games started and the whistle blew, I really forgot about all that, and it was just focusing on watching my boys play well and the team succeed. And I think they did a really good job of that this year. And, being able to lead from the bench and just kind of cheer guys on and make sure they had the confidence that they needed to succeed and bring us, as far as we got. I couldn't really have asked for anything more in a season where I was injured. And I think the boys made me really proud and made me feel really good about what I've done over these 4 years, especially in this season.
So having a senior season to me was I can't put into words how valuable that was, especially with COVID and everything like that. And I know, especially Coach Fahey worked, really hard to, get us to be able to have a season in the first place. So that obviously meant a lot. I can't say how much that meant to me because in freshman year, I broke my leg. And then sophomore year, I was, dealing with issues of, mentally not being there and being, afraid to get injured again. And then junior year, I was, really motivated. And I feel like I came into preseason, doing really well. And then the season comes and then I'm having issues with my hip. So obviously I feel like that was taken from me in a way. And then, so yeah, I can't say really how much the senior season meant to me because it felt like everything had finally come together, especially being able to be a captain of the team and be a leader.
This season meant a lot to me for a lot of reasons. To begin, I honestly didn't even know if we were going to be able to get in a full season, let alone ultimately make it to the state finals. Every game we went out there and played like it would be our last. And then for me personally, this was a culmination of my 4 years of Pingry soccer, starting as a freshman all the way up to a senior captain. So I just wanted to leave a legacy similar to those that I looked up to in the past. Also, it was pretty special to both me and my family for me and Seb to finally play together. It's something that we've always talked about, and now that I'm a senior captain, I kind of just want to leave that legacy and inspire incoming freshmen and all the underclassmen for the seasons ahead.
Okay, so the opening match of the season is at Bridgewater, which is always a big rivalry game for us. We went down 1-0 in the first half of that game, but we rallied back, scored 2 goals. I think Danny Yanez hit the first one from about 18 yards out, and then we were knotted 1-1 for a long time. And I think this was the first flash of the kind of resiliency we're going to see from this team. And there was a moment of brilliance, and our captain Tristan scored a late goal, an individual effort. Remember him weaving on the left side, going by 2 or 3 guys and slotting home the winner. So that was a huge game for us.
So that goal was huge for both me and the team. We just finished our comeback, started off the season with a 2-1 win against a team that we've always played tough. So we were excited for the rest of the season. And
the reason it really stuck with me was obviously, Jake made some great saves, and Tristan scored the game winner. And being that was the first game, and I was still kind of really recovering from my injury, just having that real big moment of joy with seeing both my boys do really well, and especially score a game winner against a team that we've always loved to beat in the past, and we've always had a great rivalry against, and I've always loved playing in those games. So seeing that was really a great moment.
Our next match was against Gill St. Bernard's, ranked number 3 in the state. I believe at that time we were 6th in the state, and we were ready for them. We were looking forward after the county final the prior year to playing Gill and having a premier matchup in the state. It was another heartbreaking loss. I mean, this team showed resilience. We went down 1-0. They scored a goal in the second half.
I remember we were down, there were like 4 or 5 minutes left, and Cole was about to take a long throw, and I didn't want him to, and then I remember Coach Ameti yelled at me to get in the box, and he threw it in and bounced around a little bit. I got at the top of the box, and then I hit it in with my left foot. I remember that was actually on my birthday, so that's a pretty cool moment. Even though we lost, that was a really big team performance.
We had all the momentum, and I feel it was a really poor call on the penalty kick late in the game. We thought that, tactically we were prepared and had a perfect game plan for that game. We were looking forward to getting them down the road if that was possible. But that was a heartbreaker, but we moved on from there. The Hunterdon Central match, the 3rd match of the year, this was a big match for us as far as, I think, growing up for the team and really showing what we were all about. It was almost a mirror image of the prior year. We went up 2-0 in this game. Central came back and tied it 2-2. About 1 minute to go, Tristan stepped up. He always took our free kicks. He lofted a beautiful ball to the far post.
I remember it going over my head and Devin screaming, saying I got it, and then he kind of headed it and slipped. I literally just saw the ball and just tapped it in the net. And all I remember is just running to the sideline and getting pummeled by everybody. But it was a great moment.
But I'll never forget this moment. I actually blew up the celebration, and it's hanging downstairs in my house.
My favorite moment this season was definitely beating Central in overtime. It's a big rivalry for us, and we beat them in overtime last year.
So the last match of our early, really difficult schedule was against Hillsborough. We've had a little bit of a rivalry with them just over the last 3 years. We knew it was going to be a tough match. We were now sitting at, I think, number 5 in the state, and we're always going to take everybody's best shot. Again, I think we had the better of the play, but it was 1-1 late in the game, and I'll remember it was a little bit of Anthony Bellari's coming out party and really showing how he was going to contribute to the team, and he scored a late game winner that was awesome.
I just remember like a ball coming in, I think Itty played it across, and I kind of just I couldn't really see the ball, so I just slide tackled and the ball was right there, and then it hit off the post and just trickled in. I felt just super happy to contribute to the team and get a win.
We really started to find our stride. We started to play some beautiful soccer. We started scoring a ton of goals. We went on a 6-game winning streak, and this team really showed they were for real. I think that technical work that we talked about that we got over the summer due to COVID-19 and not being able to scrimmage or necessarily play any sort of possession really started to show during this 6-game stretch. One game I do remember is the Ridge game. I think we won 4-2, and why that game stands out in my head is, Tristan, I think he had a 2-goal game that game, and from there on out, I think in the next 8 games, he scored 12 goals. So he really started to step into his own and kind of take over and really find his stride and his confidence. And that was a huge boost for us over the next 6 games moving into the final quarter of the season. And we had an away match in North Hunterdon, who always seems to play us tough. Due to COVID-19, Danny Yanez was out. We weren't sure if Tommy Yanez was going to be able to play. I actually remember we told him I think it was going to be the first game that he was going to start. And we weren't sure if he was going to play because of contact tracing, and then he was allowed to play. And as we're getting ready to start the game, and it's his first start, I'm saying, "Where's Tommy Yanez?" And they said, "Coach, he's throwing up behind the bench." So, Tommy was nervous, but he got his first start of the game that against North Hunterdon. And one of the things that stands out with North Hunterdon is 2 things actually. Anthony Ramlashan stepping up as a senior captain in that game, thinking it's going to be a really tough game, and hitting a laser to open the scoring for us from the 18 yards out. That was a huge moment, beautiful goal. And another thing that stands out for me was about 35 minutes into the first half, we had a combination play where 5 guys touched the ball. There was no dribbling. It was all passing, and we went the length of the field, starting with Jake Nickel. It brought a tear to my eye. I was so proud of the technical work, and that was a real moment. And I think we were up 8-0 at that point. And that was a real moment where I was like, this team could be very special.
Traced on Friday, and Tom got traced on Monday. And I remember the most frustrating thing was that we both got tested multiple times, even a week after. And at this point, the quarantine period was still 14 days. So we couldn't play in the MKA game that was a week later, which turned out to be a really big one and a really tight one that I think we both wish we could have played in.
I remember it was after a game I found out I got traced, and it was a horrible feeling because I knew that this was right at the end of the season, and I was hoping to be able to, as a freshman, maybe get some playing time in the final, and this kind of ruined my chances of that because now I wouldn't be in practice for 2 weeks. I'd be missing a big game, and it kind of took it all away from me.
So we scheduled MKA late in the season. There was going to be about a week off before the state tournament started, and we wanted a tough match. And MKA, I believe, was ranked in the top 15 in the state at the time. They had played everybody tough in their county. They had played Bergen Catholic tough, and we knew it was going to be a big challenge. And at this point, I think we were 4 in the state, and we were taking everybody's best shot. So another COVID-19 situation, we were still going to be out without the Yanez brothers. So it was going to be an interesting match for us. We didn't know a lot about MK. We scouted them.
And they turned out to be a really, really good opponent. They had some very good commits. They were overall just a very well-structured team. And we went up 1-0. You scored a nice free kick. And then they came down the field 3 times. Same goal every single time, a cross in and a finish. Eddie and I grabbed goals as well in the first half.
Lucas Ribeiro got the ball in the box, made a beautiful little turn, served the ball, and Itty headed home a beautiful head ball goal. That was a goal that really stood out for me this season.
This was the start of overtime, and I remember winning a ball, and then dribbling, and then I played Itty down, like along the 18, and then he whipped it in, and then no one got to it, and I went out to Hecht, and I remember, I don't know if he was shooting or passing still, but I remember he hit it, and then it just kind of came right to my feet, so I tapped. I just hit it, just went off right off my foot and then went in, so.
So I dropped off my COVID test, and then I drove in and I saw the scoreboard, and it's 3-3 with like, I think 45 seconds left in the second half. But I thought that was actually one of my favorite moments of the season because I watched from inside my car through the fence, and I saw Anthony's winning goal and everyone run on. So it was like super relieving to see that we pulled it through.
Even bigger was right after that game, I think Clifton had lost, and we actually moved to number 2 in the state. We also moved to number 20 in the country, so now we're number 2 in New Jersey and nationally ranked going into the state tournament, which was really exciting. Okay, so state semifinal at Oratory. Pingry Boys soccer is rolling, number 2 in the state, number 20 in the country. Not sure how Oratory was seated higher than us, but that's out of our control. So now we're back at full strength. Nobody's out due to anything COVID related, and we're feeling really confident. And we go in there. I remember Tristan ripping one off the crossbar, and we're playing very, very well.
It was tied 0-0 at halftime. We'd outplayed them. We'd missed a few golden chances, but we were on the front foot. Second half, Devin scored a really big header to put us up 1-0. That kind of broke the game.
It was about 60 minutes into the game. It was still 0-0, and we kind of knew that we were a better team than Oratory, but we just needed to prove that. And I think that, like, when I scored, it really changed the dynamic of the game, and it really opened things up.
They started playing more attacking, and on my goal, Itty went up for a ball. The ball deflected. I beat the defender to it. Took a touch, looked up and just hit it. Went up for 9.
And we find 3 goals in the second half, and you know, seal a very rare 1-against-2 state championship.
That whole game was a lot of fun, especially knowing that like we had like the state final after winning that one in like 48 hours. That was a lot of fun.
So state championship at Gill St. Bernard's, number 1 in the state, Pingry number 2 in the state. For all the marbles, this one was to see who was going to end up number 1. And we were ready. This was a team of action, this Pingry team. We didn't, you know, they didn't talk about it a lot, they just did it. And, you know, that's one of the things that I loved about this team. So Gill starts. I feel Pingry throughout the match had the better of the possession. Controlled the game, but Gill scores a goal 20 minutes into the first half. We're down 1-0, but still feel good about where we're at. I know this team. We scored late against Hunterdon Central. We scored late against Hillsborough. We scored late against MK. So this team really never got rattled. So I felt good. But 2 minutes before the end of the first half, we gave up a real dagger to go down 2-0. That goal hurt. We made two tactical changes at halftime, and you know, we told the guys that we just needed 1 to get back in this. As soon as the second half started, a few minutes into the second half, Tristan gets over the ball, serves one to the far post. Lucas Sterlicki heads it back across the middle, and Itty finishes it on his head to go 2-1.
We were down 2-0, and we needed something, like just anything in the second half. And scoring that goal was kind of just a sense of relief for me because I was struggling in that game, and it was really fun, cool to see like everyone celebrating.
We made a tactical change with Cole Moriello, who is now starting to really control the midfield, and they score a ridiculous goal. No build up from the left side. The kid hits just an unbelievable shot in the top left corner, and we're down 3-1. Doesn't faze this team. We continue to fight, we continue to battle, we continue to possess the ball and create chances. A long ball comes through straight down the middle. Tristan gets loose, down the middle, one-on-one with the keeper, scores 3-2. Gil with, I think about 17 or 18 minutes to go, so there was a lot of time left, and I felt really good at this point because I knew this team. This was all in character of this Pingry soccer team. We hit 2 posts, we hit a crossbar, but we couldn't get the third one and end up losing the match 3-2. But, you know, the way this team went down swinging to the end, I will always be proud of. And it was just a magical season.
Although this season ended with an unfortunate loss in the finals, I'm super proud of everybody this season for all that we've done given COVID and just being a super young team. And even though we didn't win the finals, we still were conference champs, which still is a trophy for this season. And I'm just looking forward to coming back next year and watching all the underclassmen growing up and playing for, hopefully, revenge in the state tournament next year.
The captains were really great. Aiden, who was injured, who knows how good we would have been if he had been there. Anthony, who also just had a great season, I thought. And Tristan, who's our 4th leading assist guy in the all-time record, had a great season. Three great kids and really good captains.
This year to me gave me a lot of hope. The fact that we were able to get so far with basically a brand new starting 11 minus like 3 people and just like a whole new dynamic and chemistry for the team. And it just gets me excited for next year because it's going to be practically the same starting 11 and same bench depth.
I'm really just very grateful that I was able to play with all my boys and we were able to win a lot of games this year, and I just wanted to give a shout out to the coaches too because they really improved my game throughout the year and pushed me to play the hardest I could.
Pingry soccer means an awful lot to me, having played here, then playing in college and then coming back, and I think making sure that in my 60-some years as coaching that we tried to develop a program that was competitive and fair to everybody. I love practice, I love games, I love the interaction with the players. So it's one of those things that I enjoy. Could I be better? Yes, but I'm doing my best.
For me, what it really means is playing for those who came before us. So, you know, there's an unbelievable tradition that Coach Bellari has created here, and it's really a family. So, you know, once you come through the Pingry soccer program, I feel like you have a family for life, and it's, you know, something that you can really hang your hat on and be proud of.
You know, when I was married in southern Indiana, 15 or 20 people who had coached. Never mind kids that I played with who are my best friends to this day, but 15 or 20 kids that I had coached who were 21, 22, 23 years old, drove across country and came to my wedding. And then today, you know, the opportunity that I have to be a leader in the program and to make relationships with special guys and families like your own that I know will be a part of my life for the next 30 years, 50 years, to think about the fact that, you know, some games after this season, you know, you took the time to kick a ball with Mike Finnegan. And to think about the fact that maybe, if I'm lucky, you know, 20 years from now, my Finnegan will well, hopefully not 20 years from now, hopefully 30 years from now, my Finnegan will kick a ball with, you know, with your little boy or your little girl on the sidelines of a Pingry game. So that's what Pingry soccer means to me.